From standout swimmer at Messiah College to volunteer assistant at MIT to assistant coach and now head coach, one can argue the script was written well before she ever stepped foot on the pool deck of Dickinson College. Join us today as we dive in head first with special guest, Dickinson College swimming coach, Katie McArdle. All right, Coach. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
First question for you right off the bat. Just tell us who you are and where you grew up.
Sure. I'm Katie McArdle. I'm the head men's and women's swim coach, and I grew up in Lebanon, Pennsylvania, so not too far from Carlisle.
How did you get into swimming?
Yeah, so swimming is really a family sport for us. My parents both swam all throughout their childhood. My aunt and uncle are swim coaches. So my aunt and uncle were my swim coaches when I was a kid from, age 4 when I started in the sport all the way through the end of high school. So it's a family enterprise. I had no choice but to swim. I got dragged around to swim meets when I was little before I could swim. So can't imagine being in any other sport.
Did you ever play another sport growing up, or was it always swimming?
I did. So I played soccer for a little bit. I also danced all through high school, age 3 through high school. I was never as good at land sports as swimming, though. So I think my parents were thrilled when I stepped away from the soccer pitch, because I think it saved them some uneasy nights of sleep preparing to watch me attempt to run around a field and dribble a ball. But
well, that's pretty impressive that you also were a dancer. What type of dance did you do, and how long did you dance for?
yeah, so I danced for 15 years, so it was quite a long time.
Yeah.
I did ballet, tap, jazz, modern, a little bit of everything. It was really a fun experience. I think it made me a much better person, athlete, coach, teacher, all of it. So really grateful for that experience. I had a great teacher throughout that time, Judy, who just did a phenomenal job teaching young people.
What would you say you were best at? Tap, jazz, modern, ballet?
Definitely ballet.
More graceful?
I think so. I think I was just more suited to it. But it is funny, swimmers aren't typically known as ballerinas. We've got big shoulders. We're built differently. We're not necessarily the most flexible athletes. So she always knew that I was a swimmer and also a dancer. But yeah, definitely made my swimming better. Better flexibility, better strength, all good things.
Have you won any dance-offs?
No, I'm not good at spontaneous improvisation. That doesn't go well for me, but it's okay.
So, upon graduating high school, you grew up locally, then you stayed local for college. What made you want to stay in the area and go to Messiah and pursue swimming?
Yeah, so I just loved the school, loved the values, really felt like I was going to get a strong education there, and the swim program was a family, and that was what I was looking for. I was looking for a coach that was going to support me holistically. She was like an additional mom for me on campus, and I could stop by anytime, get a snack, sit down, she'd stop whatever she was doing and talk to me, and that made all the difference. So I really enjoyed being there and having that experience for 4 years.
And for those that don't know, you had a very decorated career as a swimmer at Messiah. What do you think internally drove you to want to succeed and drove you to be great?
Yeah, I'm the youngest in my family, so I have an older brother. I think youngest siblings are always very competitive as a general rule, so I'm told I came out with my hands and fists. I always just had that drive. And I think that really played out well in swimming. Swimming is a sport where you need to be really internally motivated. It's quite boring to stare at a black line for 2 hours plus a day and be underwater. You can't really hear anything. You just need to be a good friend of your own mind. And I definitely enjoy thinking. I enjoy time alone. I'm an introvert. So I think that was really conducive to my success in the pool. But yeah, at Messiah, I was surrounded by good people. We had a greater purpose other than just winning. Our culture was really unique. And I think that really motivated me to pursue success, pursue excellence, but also to push others to pursue excellence too.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned that winning culture there. You guys won 4 conference championships in the 4 years that you swam for the Falcons. Talk about the lessons that you learned swimming during those years and what drove you as an individual, but also as a team to want to achieve those championships.
Definitely. Our program started in 2008, so I was there during some of the fledgling years of the program, and I think that newness really drove us to want to put our names out there, to be a program that was a winning program. We were surrounded by other programs that set the standard of excellence on campus, and so we wanted to really achieve and meet that bar. And it was just a really neat experience to see everybody buy in to that shared goal. So we set a lot of smaller goals, what it looked like in practice for us, what kind of intervals we wanted to make as a women's team collectively. We loved beating up on the guys in practice. That was one of our favorite parts, and I think that really motivated us. We had a really supportive men's team along the way in the process. And at Conference Champs, we were swimming nerds. We loved to see the stats come in. We loved to calculate how many points we needed, what each person needed to do on a relay team in order to get those crucial points. We recognized that each and every person had a role to play. It wasn't just about the front runners who were winning golds really in swimming. You need depth. You need folks getting those fourths and fifths. You need folks making finals. So we made it a goal, Conference Champs. We want everybody to get a night swim. We want everybody to final. It was a big thing for us, and those stepping stones of goals really, I think, set us up for success in terms of those wins in Conference Champs.
And what were the lessons that you learned as a swimmer in all those championships that you now can apply as a young coach?
I think really just recognizing that I need to have my identity in more than just wins. So I need to be a person that's grounded by values, and we talk about that a lot as a team here at Dickinson. We need to kind of really gather around our collective values. Those are family, dedication, respect for us, and we need to let those drive us. It can't just be about those medals, those wins, the record. We need to make sure that we're unified as a team around those qualities. Otherwise, A, we're not going to win, B, we're not going to have any fun, and we're not going to feel fulfilled. So really making sure that our identity is grounded in the right things and that we're developing as human beings and letting the wins take care of themselves.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of coaching, what made you want to pursue it as a career? What interested you in stepping out of the pool as a swimmer and stepping onto the pool deck as a coach?
Yeah, I think looking back, I was always being prepared to be a coach, but I didn't really realize it. I thought for a long time I'd be an educator. That's my background. Have a degree in education and a master's in education, and realized that the best teachers I had had were coaches along the way in my life. Whether it was my aunt and uncle, that dance teacher I mentioned, or another coach I had who just passed away this summer, who was a phenomenal mentor in my life. Those individuals were passionate about what they taught and changed my life, and so I wanted to change the lives of some other young people and pay it forward. And I just love being a student of the sport of swimming. That's always who I am. I mentioned I'm a swimming nerd. I can tell you the times of people that I barely know because I just like paying attention to the sport. And so that's part of what makes a good coach. You're always learning, you're always looking at what others are doing well, how they're successful, and applying that to your own athletes. So I really think, again, I was constantly kind of set up for this, falling back into the family sport and enterprise without really realizing it. But I think it was always meant to be.
Yeah. And you started your career, you were a volunteer assistant at MIT while you were getting your master's. Then you spend 1 year as the assistant coach here under Coach Richards. Now you're the head coach. Do you ever look back on days when you're sitting in your office and say, wow, look how far I've come in 2 years from volunteer to assistant to now head coach of a program in an extremely competitive swimming conference?
I really do. In my wildest dreams, I don't think I could have written this story. It's really incredible. I have so much to be grateful for. During this time when there are obviously many challenges with the pandemic, I think I am just so fortunate to be here. I can't imagine being anywhere else. Dickinson is the perfect destination for me and my career. And I'm just amazed that everything fell into place that I could be here and really feel strongly that these student athletes recruited me, and I'm so fortunate to get to be their coach.
And while you're a new coach in the department, you were new to the staff last year as an assistant. You're not new to Dickinson. Your dad swam here. How does it feel, I should say, to realize you're coaching the program that your dad once swam in? And what's that feeling like when you put on something Dickinson, knowing that I'm the second now in this family to wear something Dickinson?
Yeah, it's surreal. Again, we couldn't write this story if we tried, but I think we all sort of don't want to become our parents when we grow up, and then you get to a certain point in your life and you realize you actually are your parents, and that's okay. You're proud of that. So I'm very proud to be here in this role. Nothing makes me happier than knowing that I could get to continue my family's tradition here, get to continue the traditions that Coach McEvoy, Coach Evenson, Coach Richards all collectively kind of started. So when I put on the red, I just realized that I'm stepping into something much bigger than me, much bigger than our program, much bigger than where we are now. There are generations of folks who have come through this institution, come through this athletics department, who have just gone out into our world and done amazing things. So I'm really proud, really grateful to be a part of this incredible tradition here.
And how did you tell your dad that you got the job, and what was his reaction when he found out that you were going to be the next head coach of Dickinson?
So I gave my parents a call, made sure they were together in the same room. I'm pretty sure they still have a landline, and I'm pretty sure I called their landline because I thought, I want to get both of them together, and thought this may be the last time in my life I ever call a landline, and that's fine. But got them together and said, you're not going to believe it, but I'm going to be at Dickinson as the new head coach of the swim program. And it was just an incredible conversation with my family that I'll never forget. I'm pretty sure both my mom and my dad cried, and I was just kind of laughing at their tears, but really just such a great memory for us to hold as we move forward here.
And as you mentioned, your dad swam for Coach McEvoy, obviously a legacy here at Dickinson. He's in the Hall of Fame. Coach Richards arguably will be in the Hall of Fame one day. What's the legacy you want to leave behind, following in the footsteps of two outstanding coaches, not just at Dickinson College, probably in collegiate swimming as a whole?
I think as the coach at the helm of this program, after such incredible folks who have traveled before me, I want to leave the legacy that I cared for each and every student athlete, that we made every person who stepped onto our pool deck feel special, feel valued, and feel like they could thrive here in every possible way, and then go out into our world and tackle it. We've got a lot of needs, a lot of problems in this world, and we need innovative people willing to go out there and tackle them. And so that's who we want to be as a program. We definitely want to be successful. Can't wait to have that first conference championship banner hanging up in Clark Natatorium. But banners fade. We need to make sure that we're making an impact on the world we're embedded within.
All right, we got a minute on the clock here. Let's see how many you can get done.
All
ready?
right.
Hot dogs or hamburgers?
Hamburgers.
Favorite ice cream flavor?
Chocolate.
4th of July or Memorial Day?
4th of July.
If they made a movie about your life, what actress would you want to play you?
Julie Andrews.
Favorite candy?
Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
Go-to Halloween costume?
Mary Poppins. Julie Andrews.
Julie Andrews. There you go. Beach or mountains?
Beach.
What's your go-to pregame meal?
Cliff Bar and coffee.
Both as a swimmer and as a coach? Favorite Cliff Bar flavor?
Chocolate chip.
Favorite place to eat in Carlisle?
Massey's.
Dinner with one Olympic swimmer, who would that be?
Katie Ledecky.
Belly flop or cannonball?
Cannonball.
And if you could swim against one swimmer, who would that be?
Alexander Popov.
And that is rapid fire. Coach McArdle, you are done. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we look forward to sharing this with the Dickinson community.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
You too.